We take on all the big issues, the big talking points in football, but of course there is an absolute blockbuster occasion getting underway shortly. The Ryder Cup in New York as Europe look to defend the trophy on US soil around an hour away from the first foursomes. Let's cross live to the wonderful Mr. Jamie Weir. Jamie, people are saying that this could be the most hostile Ryder Cup atmosphere of all time. Looks pretty quiet behind you at 6 a.m.
Yeah, it's not hostile at the moment, Will. It's all very good-natured at the moment. It's quite tame at the moment, if I'm being completely honest. Come on, New Yorkers, where are you? I thought you were supposed to be a rowdy bunch. 5 a.m. the gates opened here. At 5:02 a.m. that grandstand over my right shoulder was packed to the rafters. It is the place to be. It wraps around the first tee and the 18th green. It's a great spot to be all day long, to be completely honest, and the atmosphere no doubt will build as the day goes on. But the European players have already started arriving for their opening foursomes round. Tyrrell Hatton just a while ago walking on site. They will be heading to the range where they'll be warming up in the pitch dark. There's Luke Donald looking very calm and stoic and relaxed, as he has done all week. Resplendent in their sky blue today. Team Europe, Jon Rahm, that is, I can promise you, hard to make out, but he's heading out first up with Tyrrell Hatton in that lead match, as they did in Rome 2 years ago. Such a successful pairing. Bob McIntyre playing in the foursomes for the first time. He was only using the four balls a couple of years ago in Rome, but he's elevated his game to a next level. And this man, Tommy Fleetwood, one of the most popular players with American fans in the European team, and he'll be alongside Rory McIlroy. A real power pairing for Europe today. Let's remind you of those matches that we're going to see. And first up, we do have, as I said, Jon Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton, and they're taking on the emotional heartbeats of the US side. The two players in the US side who get the crowds going more than anybody else in Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas. Second out, we've got Ludwig Åberg and Matt Fitzpatrick, a new pairing for Europe. This time around, the Scandinavians of Åberg and Hovland have been split up. Matt Fitzpatrick playing alongside Ludwig. Scotty Scheffler, the world number one, and Russell Henley are their opponents in the second match. Match number 3, we'll see Tommy Fleetwood alongside Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa and Harris English, the pairing that they will be taking on. A surprise pairing perhaps for some, a few eyebrows raised when Keegan Bradley announced that one. And in that anchor match this morning, Bob McIntyre and Viktor Hovland. Vic and Bob, as we've been saying all week, hopefully they can be shooting stars for Europe against Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. But we are building to it, guys. The atmosphere is starting to build here. We're about an hour away from that opening tee shot, and we cannot wait.
Jamie, I have a question for you. Obviously, we've heard from the Americans and the European team, the way the Europeans play, they play with so much hunger to go and win this. And we've seen the American team that they almost look bothered sometimes. What is it like from the Americans this year, hearing them speak in the press conferences?
I think there is a little bit more of a fire in their belly this time around, Jay, I would have to say. And I think a lot of that is down to Keegan Bradley, who has been incredibly impressive, I have to say, in the build-up to this Ryder Cup. You know, he perhaps should have been playing in this Ryder Cup team, certainly one of the best 12 American golfers. Yeah. He took the decision to fall on his own sword and not pick himself, to be captain instead, to put all of his focus, all of his energy into being captain. And we've seen him just lead from the front so far, and I think there is a bit more of a spark in the Americans' eyes. They want to win this Ryder Cup back. It hurt them 2 years ago. They are favourites to win on home soil. They should win this Ryder Cup. But in the Europeans, there is a steely determination. It's been very relaxed, smiling, signing autographs to the fans, throwing balls into the crowd. A real charm offensive for the European team so far. There is a real togetherness, a family feel to the European team. But underneath it all, there is a focus. They are a team on a mission. They are 11 of the 12 who were victorious in Rome. Same captain as well in Luke Donald. And every I has been dotted, every T has been crossed by Luke Donald. He has been meticulous in his preparation, and they are determined to try and do what Rory McIlroy said 2 years ago was the hardest thing to do in golf, and win a Ryder Cup on away soil.
So who do you think there's more pressure on then, the Europeans or the Americans, to go out there and perform?
I think there's 100% more pressure on the Americans, and I think this is perhaps one of the hardest venues to win it on, because this New York crowd, we've been talking about how rowdy they can be and how the Europeans can expect both barrels from the fans, but New Yorkers will eat their own. They will turn on the Americans. If there's a lot of blue on that scoreboard this morning, you can expect some heckles and some boos being directed in the way of the Americans, and that will just ramp up the pressure on them. You are supposed to win Ryder Cups on home soil, so all the pressure is on the US. Europe arrive here with an incredibly settled, strong-looking side, but when it comes to world rankings, the Americans are still the stronger side, make no mistake about it, and the bookies have them as the favourites, so I think all the pressure is on them.
Jamie, just a final one. Obviously, I can see a lot of fans there behind you, but how has President Donald Trump's appearance at this Ryder Cup affected people getting in? We saw it at the US Open. It was half an hour late for some of them to get in there.
Yeah, we left our hotel about 3:30 this morning because we were expecting it to be a nightmare to get here. We actually had a seamless journey in, but you can't quite make it out. There's like airport-style security around the place this morning, and if you head out, then you've got to go through the security. If you want to come back in, you've got to head back through the security. I can see people being frisked on their way in. There's a long, long list of items that aren't allowed in the course today, things like umbrellas and even a flask to have your drink in, fold-away chairs. A lot of the stuff that people are buying in the merch tent, they're not then able to take out onto the course with them. So look, security has been ramped up. I think in an ideal world, President Trump would have liked to have been here for the first tee this morning. I think that was just a logistical impossibility. So he's going to be here this afternoon. Whether he walks onto the first tee itself or whether he's sort of, behind a ring of security somewhere else remains to be seen. Knowing what President Trump is like, I'm sure he wants to be on that first tee in front and centre and maybe even grab the microphone out of the MC's hands and say a few words to the home crowd. So look, that's going to be a circus later on today. At the moment, he's not here just yet, and the atmosphere is building, and the fans, they're still pretty tame, if I'm being honest, William, but maybe they'll warm up.
You should never take a man in a snood seriously, but Jamie, thank you very much for now. There we go, the Ryder Cup. You love it, I love it. I mean, I'm going to be glued this weekend. Have you been to a Ryder Cup before, Jay?
No, I haven't been to a Ryder Cup. That's one I definitely want. I know. That's definitely one I want to go to in future. Yeah,
but for you, is that one of the best sporting occasions of all time?
Oh, 100%,
just to watch it.
100%. Do you know the atmosphere? Because we always talk about, being a footballer, we always talk about the atmosphere in stadiums and whatnot, and it's amazing. But you don't really see a great atmosphere until you see the Ryder Cup, where you see everyone passionate, everyone's fighting, players are arguing with each other. You don't really see that on, just normal competition days. So it's going to be great to see, and hopefully Europe can come through. When you talk about hostile crowds, and you've been involved in a few of those, I'm just thinking for the clubs that you played for, even Cardiff, against Swansea, for example. I mean, how do you block that out? How do you concentrate? Because it's easy to say, oh, they're footballers and they're golfers, they get paid a lot, just get on with it. But it must be difficult. You know what the thing is? I mean, especially Swansea against Cardiff, that one just goes under the radar in terms of derbies. There's a real hatred there. Like, I mean, when we used to. The first year I was there, we went to go and stay in a hotel in Swansea, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, all the fire alarms went off. We had to come outside. It's like the fans were like just obviously making it really difficult for us. Fire alarms went off. Yeah, because they didn't want me to rest in it, because I would have probably got 2 or 3. But so we had to stay in Cardiff. We couldn't actually go there. But the atmosphere when you play in these hostile environments, you don't really think about it and when you walk out, you hear it. When you're taking corners and things like that, you hear it. But when you're actually on the pitch, you don't. You're just fully focused on what's happening. Yeah. And I think it'll be much of the same for golfers. The only thing is that when they're standing up to the ball, obviously everything goes quiet. Whereas football is just continuous, isn't it? So the silence, I think, is harder for golfers. Give me your Jay Bothroyd former teammate 4-ball before we move on. That's a tough one. I'm going to go Gary McAllister. Yeah. Oof, that's a big one. Gary Mack. Craig Bellamy. Stephen Gerrard. Gary Mack from Coventry. I'm trying to work all these clubs out. Yeah, Coventry, player manager. Yeah. Stephen Gerrard when I play for England. Yeah. Craig Bellamy at Coventry and Cardiff. And then I've got to play in it myself, isn't it? That's a decent ball. Are they all good at golf as well? Yeah. That helps, isn't it?